Dr. Cooper, and I sympathize, but the hard facts are occasionally we have to shake a few hands and kiss a few butts to raise money for our research. I don't care. It's demeaning, and I refuse to be tried. I think we're on. So it's been a while. This is the first time we're going on Joobyview. This is Roland Jean Charles, PMI JC and Realty Group, 1/3 of the Joobyview crew.
How you doing, everyone? Harold Jean-Louis. We're missing a partner right now, but I'm gonna say 3/3 of the Joobyview group.
Yeah, Walking is MIA. First meeting back, and he ain't available. But anyway,
why is it our first meeting back? I mean, I know I've been traveling. I think you've been traveling as well.
Listen, we haven't had a meeting since October, bro. I think.
Wow.
It's been about 2 months. Like realistically, since we've been on here doing a meeting. Last time we did it was when we were streaming on Facebook. Now we've transitioned to YouTube. You know, I mean, YouTube is the platform, though. You know, so hopefully we'll be able to use this platform to scale the way we want to scale.
All right.
So we'll see how that goes, man. So a lot of things have happened. We can talk about a lot of different things. Been on a couple of different trips, got a couple of different Joobyview reviews popping off. And we're going to have to start putting some reviews online. Like I got a gimbal and I'm trying to use that to take videos, man. But like my gimbal don't work the way I thought it should, bro. I thought you have more control.
What is a gimbal? Is it those hand things?
Yeah, is that what you use when you were doing your video? What'd you use when you were doing your video in New Orleans?
I usually just hold it. So everyone, just to give you a preface, I mean, this is the first time we're on YouTube, right? So Joobyview is a app platform where people will be able to pretty much post things in real time, right? So let's say I go to lounges a lot, right? So I'll probably be able to pull out my phone, record how it looks inside on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best. I'll give it maybe a 2, right? Maybe an hour later, you know, it gets even more crowded. I could record how it looks inside and give it a score of maybe like 4 or 5. Roland and Walken, who are down the block, will be like, wow, Harold's at a 5 right now. Our situation's at 2, and they could go there. So basically, I'm giving them real-time, up-to-date reviews of venues, right? And it could be restaurants, it could be lounges, it could be whatever, outdoor venues. So that's what we're talking about when we're about to jump into the gimbal and everything else.
Yeah, to add to that, so you can think of Joobyview as a combination between Instagram and Google reviews and Yelp. It gives you the top 5 venues within a mile radius of where you are and within an hour of it being posted. So if you go into a new city and you don't know where to go party, or you don't know, a good restaurant to go to, you go into Joobyview. It'll tell you the top 5 venues within a mile radius of where you are within an hour of it being posted. So you know what that place looks like in real time. And so it's a great app we're putting together. We're still working on it. We're still making improvements. But as long as we have the content, it's going to add value to, everyone who uses it. And so Harold travels quite a bit. I do a little bit of traveling. We add, videos of different areas that we were in. I was just in Jamaica, and in Jamaica, I was doing reviews of, the locals, because I wasn't at a resort, nothing like that. So I was, doing reviews of different local spots, eating, doing different types of things, and it was kind of dope, But in the social media app, you need to have content. You have people using it, and the more people that use it, the more valuable it's going to be to everyone. But the concept is dope, if we may say so ourselves. We also have events in there. You can post events. You can make events private. Make it exclusive, so only the people you want to invite to your event see your events. So we got a lot of different tools in there, tips and tricks or whatever. But yeah, so we're gonna have this YouTube channel to not just promote Joobyview, but we're going to talk about, topics,
current events.
Current events and topics that are coming up that we're seeing. We're going to comment on a lot of different things. we all very different. You know, I'm kind of in the middle. You know, Harold is a lot more conservative than me, and Walken is a rebel without a car, so he's out there. So you'll get a balanced view of how we talk. We talk about all types of stuff. We talk about venues, we talk about women, we talk about politics. We're all Haitians, so we talk about Haiti sometimes. But you know, we talk about Joobyview. We talk about being entrepreneurs and trying to build this, you know, multi-million-dollar, company. You know, I tell people all the time, there are three ways you get to a billion. Well, it's really, yeah, there are two ways you get to a billion. Either with assets, so you buy, assets, like properties, and you let those values grow, or you get a how you say it? You have assets, and then you have
Startup, what?
no, not startup. You have assets, and then you have a
Liability.
brand, bro, brand. And so Joobyview would be a brand, right? So we built that up. We get enough content, it can scale and go up to wherever we want it to be. So,
Right.
so that's what we're trying to do, man. So today is the first day. So what topic we want to talk about? There's a lot of things that happen. Megan Thee Stallion won her court case against Tory Lanez. So he's jacked up in the game. He's gonna be stuck in the game, a little messed up for a little while. I mean, it's been a lot of things that happened.
A lot. I mean,
a lot of things. I can't remember all the crazy things that happened since.
We could go back to Elon acquiring Twitter.
Wasn't we wasn't on when that happened?
We were nowhere near. Elon has been running amok.
No, I mean, how you been running amok? I like Elon. Elon doing his thing. Big E.
Elon's been causing devastation. I think he likes disorder.
But how's he causing devastation though?
Okay. So all the firing. Okay, wait. We're also gonna have to talk about all the tech fires. Like it's been firing season in all these tech companies.
They had to. They had to scale down. It's like they go too fat during COVID. Now they have to scale down a bit.
Okay, so if that's the case, do you think it's gonna ripple into, I guess, real America? So we're looking at Silicon Valley, and they had to cut the largest cost item, which is their engineers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they're foreshadowing what's going to happen to the rest of the sectors and industries?
To some degree, because I have some owners that I work with, because I'm a property manager right now in the property management company, and one of the owners I was working with said that she got laid off. And so to me, that's just a microcosm of bigger issues that we're about to see. And I don't know that they're firing people because they're necessarily losing money, as opposed to them firing people in anticipation of what may be coming up. So it may not be as severe as we think it might be, just because what they're doing is really preemptive, and it's not a reflection of where the economy currently is.
Okay, so you're saying they had a lot of excess fat and they wanted to slim down to see if they can pretty much get through. The numbers, though, are just devastating. And if you look at all of the big name brands, everyone's dropping a significant portion of their workforce. So
I don't think that's going to impact society. I mean, it's a very different when an engineer who makes anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 a year loses his job. Very different than when someone from McDonald's loses their job, right? When the regular folks start losing their jobs and they can't afford to eat, that's when you have a problem. These tech engineers, they have a skill set that they're gonna be okay. Like, these people, they're not gonna be out of a job for long, A, and B, they can become contractors and freelance and be okay, because you're always gonna need an engineer, someone to program your shit.
So the difference is, if they're leaving a $200,000 job, they may not be able to transition into a $200,000 job, especially when there's that many engineers. So if each firm is laying off to 100,000 people, that's the competition alone, right?
Let me tell you something.
They may find a firm that's like, oh, I'll give you 75,000, but I can't match your 200.
work creates more work. That's one thing.
Okay.
And two, with the skill set that these people have and the companies that work for, they're not going to be out of work for long.
So I'm gonna say this though. A lot of companies aren't going to be able to match where they were. All the perks and everything that they were getting, they're not going to be able to match that. Another thing I'll say, though, is this. If we take it back to 2008, where it was the financial downturn, it was the real estate market crash, it was all of those things. You had people making $200,000, $300,000 who are willing to go to Walmart just to have something, just to hold them over, right?
Right, but let me tell you what the big difference is. The big difference is that caught everyone by surprise. That's why it was so devastating. This is not catching anyone by surprise. They're trimming the fat in anticipation of harder times. There's a big difference when you're trimming the fat in anticipation for harder times, as opposed, it's like when you get surprised, and I don't know if you fight, but in boxing or in kickboxing and fighting, the worst punch you can get is a punch that you don't see. No matter how hard someone punches you, if you see it coming, you can absorb it better. This, people see coming. So they're absorbing it. Society is absorbing it. This is not going to be as catastrophic. So 2008, people didn't see it coming. So it took them out.
So I'm going to say a couple of things then. Okay, I like that. Different factors. A lot of people are new entrepreneurs. I call them newpreneurs, right? So the newbie entrepreneurs, right? They were the ones who got the confidence during COVID, right? They haven't seen any struggle. They are probably only seen upside, right? So this is going to shake them, rattle them, weed out whoever shouldn't be there, right? So you have those people, right? You have people also, since 2008, we've been on an incline. Everything has been winning. There's people who created businesses maybe 10 years ago who still have never seen struggle. A lot of people for the first time in their lives are going to see struggle as business owners and may not be able to fix it, may not be able to get through that, right? So this is going to be not only a trying time for these companies who are like, okay, we have enough runway and enough capital and we can cut out the fat to still be able to survive this. So many people are not going to have the extra liquidity to make sure that they guarantee and get through the next year, a year and a half. A lot of people have never seen struggle, and they're going to really have to CEO up because they're not going to know how to get through to the other end. A lot of businesses are going to fail throughout this period. That's all I'm going to say. That's
fine. And I think business failures are okay. I mean, we've talked about this before. Most successful CEOs have probably 2 or 3 failed businesses, right? And so that's not a big deal. The issue generally is when people don't see what's coming. Like I said, all this has been anticipated. The rate hikes were anticipated. Like people, like they're just trimming the fat, right? It's very different. And I don't know that these engineers are going to be impacted as negatively as we think they're going to be. Some of them are going to start their own stuff. Other of them are just going to contract out. And that's one thing you got to understand. A lot of these companies, they may fire 1,000 employees, but then they may hire those same employees back as contractors because then you're no longer on their books as employees. They'll pay you a little bit more, 25, maybe 50% more on your salary, right? You're no longer an employee, so they're not responsible for you for your medical. They're not responsible for you for a whole bunch of other shit that you have to cover on your own, but you're still working. Okay. So I've seen it plenty of times. They will cut you out as an employee, hire you back as a contractor.
Okay. To that magnitude, they let them go of 1,000. I don't see them contracting 1,000. They may get a portion of that though. You're right.
Even if they don't contract 1,000, the point that I'm saying, this is all planned. This is all orchestrated, and so it's not going to be as detrimental as we think it is. I would start worrying if I see people, average folks, getting hurt. These thousandaires, right? People who make six figures or more, they live a little bit of a different world, than the people who work at McDonald's or the people who work, the average wages, right? People who make 30, 40, 50 grand a year. That's a different lifestyle.
Okay. Well, we could segue into the IRS. They hired 85,000 individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's going to be a lot more efficiency. However, just recently they posted everyone. I do taxes, I do tax preparation and stuff, so I have a lot of tax knowledge. So I'm happy when Roland's able to hang, and sometimes he's even teaching me something. So, but in an instance where I don't know if you heard about the Venmos and the Cash Apps and the
They're coming
PayPal.
for it. They're coming for them.
Well, had to issue 1099Ks if you made $600 or more. But I think with all their lobbying, they got them to pause it for like another year. So the rule was going to be, hey, anyone who's receiving, more than $600 on Cash App, we're going to have to send you a financial statement that you're going to have to claim on your return. And a lot of people were prepping for it, right? Like, oh, snap, But that doesn't, like, if I go out for dinner and Roland pays, like, and I'm reimbursing him, it doesn't count. It's not that. It's for the people who actually have businesses, who are selling shirts, who are, who have a hustle or something, right? So a lot of people were going to get statements, and they were going to have to recognize themselves as a business on their tax preparation or on their tax return. And a lot of people were afraid of it. So I guess with all their money and lobbying, that they got the IRS to take a chill on that. But the 85,000 new agents, I don't know if they're going to be competent enough to catch all the troubles. I know they're still so far behind in returns that people who filed during COVID still haven't received their, return. So maybe, hopefully, it helps them with the backlog. However, I don't know the competency of it. I mean, I called the IRS the past 2 times this week, and I feel like I had to get off the phone because I could tell she was reading from a script. She didn't really know her stuff, and it was scary. It was really scary.
Yeah, when it comes to IRS, man, and the less tax you can pay, the better. And me, owning a real estate or working in the property management field, one of the things that I tell, the investors that I work with, you think that your biggest liability is your mortgage, but in reality, it's taxes. And you have to have a tax strategy going in so that you can legally pay the least amount of tax as possible. Because if you do, you can drastically improve your return on investment. And to me, we have to be like water. We have to be able to be nimble and understand what the ramifications of any action or inaction that's being taken by our government or by the global economy, and put ourselves in a position to win, right? So these, 85,000 tax professionals or IRS agents are being hired. What does that mean? What does that mean to me as a real estate agent? What does that mean to me as a property manager? What does that mean to me as an investor? What does that mean to you as a tax preparer, right? What does that mean for your clients? And I don't know what the bulk of your clients are, whether they're entrepreneurs or they're wage earners or what have you. But what does that mean? And how do we leverage that information to grow our businesses? And that's the only way I see it, because we don't have the level of power to stop what they're doing, right? We don't have enough people to get together to go out and vote people in and out. So they're not scared of our vote, right? They think they can get us to do whatever they want us to do. And so it's like, we have to be, we have to be perceptive, as perceptive as we can, and try to understand what's happening means, and how can we leverage that to get the most back possible, right? And I'm even thinking about from a Joobyview perspective, right? How can we leverage whatever's happening to make Joobyview the biggest success it can, and how can we leverage that to reduce our tax liability as much as possible?
Yeah.
And so, You know, they hire a 10,000, 20,000, 85,000, 5. I don't care. My question is, how can I make money off of it?
No, I like that. I like that. Also, like the fact that you brought Joobyview up. So, when I was thinking about is with Joobyview, we're trying to take processes that may seem antiquated or people are really used to and just ramp it up and modernize it a little and bring some more life to it or make it more useful, more relevant information. So, I bring that up because if we looked at what has transpired in the past week with the weather system moving across the United States, you've seen all the inefficiencies and technologies and the airlines getting affected. So Southwest is really hurting horribly because their systems have failed because they're so old. You know, so with all the cancellations that have been happening, pretty much there's been so many failures and like cancellations by Southwest, and out of all the airlines, they're the ones who are hurting the most. And I've heard that over the years, people have been complaining about their software being so old that I guess this is the time that it finally crumbled.
Yeah, you know, I'm deathly afraid of heights. And so flying to me is a scary proposition, but you know, I'm one of those people like I'm going to face whatever fear I got. I'm going to step right into it. Whatever happens, happens. And so when you talk about failing systems, that right there gives me pause because I'm like, yo, you know, listen, and I pray for everyone who takes flights or whatever, man. And, you know, they say it's the safest way to travel, but, you know, you have no control over what's happening, you know. So I don't
So
even know what to say about that.
it
I don't
was
even know
more
what to
so
say
on the
about that.
scheduling side. On the scheduling side, they couldn't pretty much coordinate everything, so they just had to cancel thousands and thousands of flight, you know, during the holiday season, which is just horrendous, a horrible thing, you know. So
I
yeah.
mean, it is what it is, man. Like that to me is small fries. You know, you cancel some flights, people miss some reservations, people don't get to see family. Okay, you see them next year. You know, I mean that to me, you know, no one died. Everyone's, you know, as long as everyone's alive, you get another day to complain. So
Well, the
it's no big
horrible
deal.
weather system in Buffalo, a lot of people have lost their lives, unfortunately. They had a record snowfall, and to say that about Buffalo, wow, that's surprising. I went to school at upstate New York, and I remember every single day there was no such thing as a snow day because you wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, you have like they have special trucks that are on the sidewalk shoveling, like, you know. So Buffalo was another level where you could never expect the time to shut down. So they got to the point where they were warning people, please do not go out because it was that bad.
Yeah, you know, I went through a couple of blizzards in New York, and I know those New York blizzards was not nothing like Buffalo. And we say, and I say New York and Buffalo like they're two different states, but
They
in
are.
reality, Buffalo is a different state. Even though it's in New York State, New York City, and Buffalo is two different states. And so I'll be honest with you, man. There was two storms in New York, and it shut down the city, but I was still rolling out, going to see chicks. I mean, like I mean, listen, it is what it is. I was young, I was crazy, and it is what it is. So, I mean, you just got to be mindful of what's happening, and you know, take care of yourself, take the right precautions. You know, I can't be in the snow no more. My skin's kind of thinned out a little bit, so I can't deal with it. Can't deal with it like I used to. But yeah, you gotta be smart about what you're doing. You know, I know one person died in their car. A couple of people died in other ways in the snow.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it's surprising that, you know, in major cities that you have people dying over a snowstorm. Like, I mean, we gotta do better.
Well, I mean, I heard one story. There was a guy who he was driving up to Canada. He got caught with his two daughters. And after a couple of days, he was like, we got to do this. When the snow started getting close to the window, they pretty much got out of the car. He carried the 6-year-old, 16-year-old was holding on to him. and it took him some time, but they finally found a shelter, and he was just thankful that that he made it. So I know in Georgia, same thing happened where there was some form of snow a couple of years ago. A lot of people got stuck on the highway, and a lot of people
but
died in their car.
but Georgia snow is not like up top. Their snow is they get too. You just say the word snow in Georgia and people are panicking. That's like a dirty word. You say the word snow, and the shells get cleaned out. People are pulling. People don't know what to do with themselves, man. So
isn't it like that in Florida as well?
I mean, I don't think I don't know people in Florida can spell snow. Like they're like, what's that? Yeah. I know people's like, I've never seen snow before in my life. And I'm like, really? Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
well, I know we could go on forever. So my question to you is, the new year is here, right? What are you looking forward to the most in the upcoming new year?
Listen, I'm trying to make $1 million the first quarter, bro. That's what I'm looking forward to.
There you go.
I'm trying to pivot. I'm trying to make next year better than this year.
Yeah, I like that. My goal would be, I actually want to start working. I don't know if you read Move Quick and Break Things. But
bro, I'm always breaking things. So
so my thing is, I want to work on concept, bring it close to as possible to an MVP, prove it, and get it to a point where I get to sell it. So working on a couple of quick, small projects, dish it out, get traction, sell.
Yo, bro, come to think about it, man. I don't know if this is the right venue to talk about it, man, because you got the hoodie, the beer hoodie, right? And a while ago, I came up with this concept called the barber band, and that's probably something we can talk about. And I don't want to talk about the barber band does. On here, because I really want to bring this out to fruition. I want to get it manufactured. But I think I was thinking about this a while ago, and I was like, yo, if you put the beer hoodie and the barber band together, I think that's something that could sell, bro. Like the beer hoodie and the barber band, because you already got the beer hoodie out there. I don't know whether you got to patent it or whatever, which you probably should. But if you take the beer hoodie and you put it together with the barber band, man, I mean, that is something that I think would be dope. And I think
it's the new year. Let's bring some dreams to reality.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Walking didn't make it. Don't know where he's at. He's probably stuck in the snow somewhere. So we're going to sign out. Roland Jean Charles, 1/3 of the Joobyview crew.
Harold Jean-Louis. Even though we don't have the second one here, I'm going to say 3/3 of the Joobyview crew. Definitely, we want you to keep in contact with us. So please hit us up at, what email are we using?
Support@joobyview.com.
All right. Support@joobyview.com. You have the Joobyview right there. And super excited to hear what you thought about this episode. And if you have any thoughts of future topics that we could discuss in the future.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Be safe.